So I was in the middle of recording another video on a different subject, and then this happened.
You are fake news.
Sir.
Trump tweeted out, after consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you. And then the internet exploded up into a fiery ball of stupid. And I thought, does he have a point? And is there really anything to this? First off, Trump's Twitter does not make law. So him saying this doesn't mean a goddamn thing. It's actually up to the armed forces to decide whether or not a person is fit for combat or even fit for the military. And I'd like to bring your attention to this. The military medical standards for enlistment and commission. This is something that everyone has to go through in order to serve in the military. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what sexual orientation or gender orientation that you are. This is what's required for you to have any role in the military. Behavioral disorder history in school and with law enforcement agencies having to get involved due to dangerous behavior to self or others is disqualifying. Antisocial attitudes or behaviors are disqualifying, as people who exhibit these symptoms are typically not adaptive to military service. Any psychological testing that reveals a high degree of immaturity, instability, personal attitudes, impulsiveness, or dependency will also interfere with the ability to conform to the rules and regulations of the armed forces is disqualifying. If a person has current history of behavior disorder that includes but is not limited to the following condition: enuresis or endocorpresis after the 13th birthday is disqualifying. What are those, you may ask? Enuresis is involuntary urination, especially children at night. So, bedwetters after the 13th birthday is important to note. Once you're 13 and still have this issue, chances are you're going to continue to have this issue in the military. It will affect your ability to perform as a soldier, especially when everybody else has to live around you and you're still pissing the bed. And encopresis is the same thing as bedwetting, but out the other end. Equally as disgusting, and usually is associated with emotional disturbance or psychiatric disorders. This basically means you crap yourself all the time, maybe at bed, maybe when you're walking down the street, you just don't have control over it. But this also disqualifies you being able for the military. Neither one of these things actually apply to transgender people, as far as I know. I mean, it could, because it's has nothing to do with sexual orientation. It has everything to do with biological function and to do with psychiatric disorders or emotional disturbance. So it is possible that somebody with gender dysphoria might also experience this, but it better be very severe gender dysphoria for that to happen. And usually that severe gender dysphoria doesn't lead to you crapping yourself, it leads to suicide. The psychological testing that reveals a high degree of immaturity, instability, personality issues, impulsiveness, or dependency will give people probable cause not to have you serve in the military. Personality issues can lump in transgender people. Let's look at the symptoms of gender dysphoria. This is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders provided by the APA. These are the symptoms that are typical with somebody that has gender dysphoria, which is the belief that you're a male when you're actually female, or vice versa. Actual transgender people experience this, and it can be debilitating on various levels. It all depends on the individual and their environment, their support group or lack of a support group, if their parents are fairly religious, if they were adopted, if their parents are not religious, all that kind of stuff can influence somebody's ability to handle their dysphoria. A marked incongruence between one's own experienced and expressed gender, primary or secondary sex characteristics. A strong desire to be rid of one's primary and or secondary sex characteristics. A strong desire for the primary and or secondary sex characteristics of the other gender. A strong desire to be the other gender. A strong desire to be treated as the other gender. A strong conviction that one has the typical feelings and reactions of the other gender. In children, it's a little bit different. Now, I want you to notice something in this entire list. None of them actually call out any emotional experiences that these people might have. Now, we all know that suicide rates are among the highest within transgender people. One of the reasons for this, if you feel that you're in the wrong body, if you feel as though you were born male but should be a woman and there's something wrong with you, you could also be depressed, suicidal, anxious, have anxiety, or a number of other debilitating emotional and psychological issues. So by the military's own requirements, that would make you unsuitable to be in service of the military. I have no problem with that, to be honest. If you're not mentally and physically fit, you shouldn't serve. You go in with already having a mental disorder, you might end up like this.
Private's duty to inform the senior drill instructor that Private Pyle has a full magazine and is locked and loaded, sir!
Now you listen to me, Private Pyle, and you listen good. I want that weapon, and I want it now. You will place that rifle on the deck at your feet and step back away from it. What is your major malfunction, numbnuts? Didn't Mommy and Daddy show you enough attention when you were a child?
Now, is that to say that transgender people should not serve in the military? No. And he doesn't actually have the capacity, without signing laws or doing a executive order, to stop them from serving. So long as they can pass the ASVAB, so long as they can pass the psychological and physical exam, I don't give a shit if they're in there. I've seen other people say, I don't even want them to have their hormonal treatments and their surgeries covered by the VA, which would mean it comes out of the taxpayers' money. I actually don't care about that. If you went into the military and served with distinction, you had no problems, you had no issues, no disciplinary action. In fact, you came out with a few medals and you served this country with distinction. I think you should be treated with the same dignity and respect that you went into the military looking for. You've earned respect in this instance. So I honestly don't have an issue with those going into the military and getting surgery when they get out. Don't expect it while you're in there, because that's a burden on your squad, a burden on the military, and at that point, you're useless. You're not fit for combat, you're not fit for service. If you go in there expecting to get the surgery, that's stupid. You should go in there expecting to get your ass whooped, expecting to run through basic training, and expecting to come out a soldier. That's what you should do when you go join the military.
Let's do a little singing and smoke. Play, feel great. Wine women, hold on. Fair time, oh no, party girl, bye. All night, got tight, Captain, midnight, real good. Two, a one, two, boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom.
Where the hell have you been, soldier?
Training, sir! Training, sir!
What kind of training, son?
Army training, sir! Hardy training, sir! Just like last night, only better. Head, right shoulder, hold. Order, hold. Side step, right. Who whiter the chicken, cross the road. Get from the left to the right. Right, head. Head. He stepped out of ring, got hit by a team. He ain't no chicken no more. No. Left leg, left. We there, salute. 3, 5, 7. Razzle dazzle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quick, round, 5, jump over the lazy dog.
In the end, I can see where Trump's coming from. I can see the understanding of the military because they don't want to make special accommodations for these particular people because it would require added cost to their already enormous retarded budget. If you're going in to serve, I don't care. I really don't care. Just know that you have to also pass the psychological exams like everyone else. So if you fail at that, if you've hurt yourself, if you tried to commit suicide in the past, if your gender dysphoria is very debilitating and they find out and boot, you're out. Sucks to be you. I don't care. That goes for anybody else that has the same issues. That's all I got to say about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do whatever the hell you want and like, subscribe, whatever shit. I don't care. And thank you for your time.
For our own safety, we must return to our base.